Looking for a way to make a statement without saying a word? Shop I Am All Things Clothier, the brand that lets your wardrobe do the talking. Our shirts aren't just clothing, they're bold declarations of who you are and where you're going. Whether you're crushing your goals, embracing self love, or simply looking to inspire, our designs keep you focused and stylish. So why just wear a shirt when you can wear your mindset? Visit IamEX313.com and choose the shirt that speaks to your journey today because you're more than just one thing. You're everything that you speak. Your circle will change as you accomplish your goals and level up. Everybody can't go.
And we live. Happy Wednesday and welcome to another Everybody Can't Go Convo. I'm your host, Jessi Holly. How was that holiday? So last week we left off on the night before Thanksgiving. Hopefully you guys had a great time and were able to use the takeaways to keep the happy in your November holidays. And if you haven't watched those November episodes, feel free, rewind, go back a few episodes so that you can learn a little bit about November and so that you can take some of those tips and techniques, some of those tools, so that you can apply them as we muster forward full steam ahead going toward the next holiday that's coming up. And it's coming quick, 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 quick. We're already 4 days into the month of December. I like the look of snow and bundling up, getting that hot cocoa, and doing things in the cold. These holiday markets are in full swing. I've actually enjoyed a couple this past weekend. Awesome for me. For me. I know it's not everybody's thing, but I have been having a blast during this holiday season, making sure that I was and am very mindful of how I am managing expectations, what I am doing to manage my self-care, and I've also been doing a lot of cleaning in between because when Christmas gets here, I don't want to run around the house preparing the home 2 weeks from now. In 2 weeks, we have the next holiday coming up. And for those of you who don't celebrate, congratulations on some days off where you don't have to do all of the things, all of the things. I know that everyone doesn't celebrate Christmas, but it is a big holiday. There is a lot about the season that it just affects everything. It affects the traffic. It affects what's going on at the mall if you really do need to go buy a pair of boots because you need a pair of boots. It affects everything that's going on. And so today I wanted to dive into a few things to remind you about this December while we are gearing up and headed toward the big holiday. Where we're heading toward Christmas, we're heading toward the new year, and we're already 4 days into the month. We only have 27 days left in this year. There are 27 days left in 2024. We got a few things to talk about today, guys. Got a few things to talk about. And some of it might cut us just a little bit, just a little bit, just a skosh. But I promise you that if you take away a few things that I have for you today, that it can be all good things. We still have 27 days to accomplish a lot of things. God was able to create all this in 7. So what can you do with 27? Nowhere near as much, but we can get plenty done. All right. So, the first thing that I wanted you guys to take note on, again, with that 27 days being left during this year, make sure that you do a check in. Check in with who? Check in, number one, check in with you, check in with yourself, check in with yourself first. Go ahead and take a body scan, take the time to reflect and think about how did last week go for you? Have you calmed down and calmed down a bit from the hustle and bustle, the busyness of the holiday that just passed? Are you feeling anxious about the holiday coming up? Have you taken enough time for that self care? Have you set a plan in place so that you're able to keep moving smoothly? And by setting a plan in place, we're not just talking about that scheduling. We are talking about all of the tasks that need to be completed around your home, the errands that you need to run, making sure that you're checking in on that budget, and making sure that you aren't deviating from the lists that you made for, again, that grocery shopping, if you're going to do dinner again in just a couple weeks here. And also, now is the time where I'm going to be on you guys every week. Are you sticking to that list as you are buying gifts? And are you sticking to the budget that you set for that list? Now, I'm going to remind you guys and rewind just a little bit. Last week, we talked about if you overspent in preparation for the last holiday, put yourself on punishment and deduct that amount from that Christmas budget so that we aren't moving into 2025 in a financial deficit or in a bigger conundrum than what we should be in, one that we may have just created a week or two ago. So make sure that you are referring to your lists. If you have not made one yet, make sure that you make one if you need it, if you are participating in family activities, in gift exchange or gift giving, make sure that you make a list and make sure that you budget out that list so that you're able to save yourself some of the just stress on the back end, and to be sure that you're being mindful of not overspending and making sure that you are on top of your finances even during the holiday. You may even find that by making your list, your shopping list, if you take a look at your budget and you don't like the way that it looks, whether it's an over expenditure or whether you are going to be super disciplined and you see, I don't have as much as I would like to. This is a good opportunity to make yourself a line item for something that you would like to change or a system that you would like to upgrade for yourself during 2025. Why do I keep bringing up 2025? Because that is part of what I want you to take a look at starting at the beginning of this month. Now, the crew that I roll with, we say that 2025 started on October 1st. So, according to my calendar, we are already late. But I want to encourage you guys to get ready at the beginning of the month of December so that when January 1st gets here, it doesn't hit you like a train wreck. We have a few weeks to still prepare and have some feel good activities so that we can make sure that this year hasn't just flown by and passed you by and you're just like, oh, it was just another year. I'm not going to have you be in that space where you're going to say, it was just another year, not that much happened. So, what I'd like it for you to check in on with yourself and also check in with your spouse if you have one. Make sure that you do a check in with self and then also sit with your spouse and or your family, your immediate family. Make sure that your household gets together and you guys sit down and have this check in together. So, things I want you to check in on. One, I want you to check in on those 2024 goals. What goals did you create at the beginning of this year that you wanted to accomplish? Did you break those down into quarterly goals? And did you break those goals down into monthly, weekly, and daily tasks? After you did that breakdown, or if you did that breakdown, even if you didn't, what was your intention that you set out in January of this year or around the same time last year? If you were with us in the workshops, let me know and make sure that you remind yourself, write it down. Make sure that you do that check in. Go back in your journal. If you've ordered our Write the Vision journal, got some exciting news for those of you that signed up. If you haven't signed up for the email list, click the link below, sign up right now. There's some freebies there for you. Things that you need to know that go right in alignment with what we're talking about for today. But make sure that those goals that you wrote down in your Write the Vision journal or that you wrote down in your notebook, on your paper, wherever, the goals that you wrote down, I want you to refer back to those, check back on those goals, and take a look at how many of them you accomplished. And if you did not accomplish some of them or any of them, take a look at when did you stop and why. A couple of things to point out. There are two major things that could have caused you to not accomplish those goals. And I promise you, they are quick fixes. One, you may have not had a plan. So the lack of a plan and or the lack of accountability and coaching. Those are two things that it is surefire. You can easily get to the end of the year and not have those goals accomplished. So, if you see any of the goals that you have not accomplished, I want you to take a look for those two things. Was there a lack of planning in how you were going to execute on that goal? And was there a need for accountability or coaching to assist you, to help you, or push and motivate you toward finishing that goal? And when you do that evaluation of what your 2024 goals look like, then you can go ahead and you may want to do this all in one session, or you may need to break it up. For me, because I really take a deep dive into what my goals looked like, how I set them up. I like to do one session where I sit down, look at my 2024 goals, and then I like to sit with my spouse. We talk about the goals that we set out to do together and separately and review those, make a date night out of it. Then on a separate day at a separate time, we take a look at what are our intentions for next year. What goals would you like to have set for 2025? Sometimes you may find that a goal that you had on your sheet, especially if you didn't chunk it down and have a plan for it, you may find that some of the goals that you have for 2024, you need to roll them over into 2025 so that you can either complete them or continue to work on them so that you get to the end result that you desire or that you set out to accomplish in the first place. And that's okay. I just want you guys to make sure that you get it out, get it on paper so that you are prepared. And or if you don't get it on paper yet, if you aren't ready, at least that you have it at the forefront of your mind and at least you are thinking about it as we are so easily getting lost in the hustle and bustle for me in all of these light shows and holiday markets. You guys, I have my holiday things too. That's why I'm talking to you about these things. I have to make sure that I schedule out my time to review my 2024 goals and schedule that time to review my 2025 goals. A couple weeks ago, I already added to my calendar a group session so that I could have that accountability so that we would be able to check in on these goals. Now, the next thing that I'd like for you to do after you review those 2024 goals, I want you to do a little exercise because we don't want to just look at goals, what we have and have not accomplished. We want to look at what we have accomplished, the things that we've done or achieved, or things that we have experienced that are not a part of that goal list. It's very easy to take a goal list of somewhere between 3 and 5, sometimes 10 different goals that you have. Take a look at that list and say, yeah, I did all of these things. I feel great. Or I didn't finish all of these things. I don't feel so great. It's very easy to get away from the gratefulness and the thankfulness that you can have when you don't take a look at your year over year accomplishments. What do I mean by that? This is going to be super simple. Hopefully, it may even be fun for you. Go back into your phone, the photos in your phone. Scroll back to January 1st, 2024. Take the time to literally scroll through all of the photos that you took this year and all of the videos. Not on social media. I'm talking about the ones in your phone. Because if you're anything like me, there are a ton of secretly archived or never before seen footage. You have a ton of things that you've done that haven't made it to social media, because the best moments don't make it to social media. The best moments, they don't, because you were too busy in the moment actually having fun. You didn't have time to chronicle it. So I want you to go back in your photo album and scroll through and take a look at what were you doing during each month of this year. Take a look back at some of those happy memories that you had. Take time to honor the pain and discomfort of some of the not so great things that may have happened during this past year. Take some time to notice what your accomplishments were. What were some of those things that you didn't even have on your goal list that it sort of came up? Or what opportunities were you able to take advantage of? What people were you able to help? What impromptu invites did you receive? Who did you get to unexpectedly see? Who have you seen and it's been quite a few months, and maybe you need to send them a text to check on them, or even send them a Christmas card. If you are a Christmas card mailer, there's still time for that too. Who are some people that you'd like to connect with to enjoy some of the holiday festivities? Take a look at all of those things, and I just want you to get into a reflective state. I promise, even if this year felt like it just was not your year, if it felt like you wasted your time, that you didn't get anything done, if you have any negative feelings about this year, I want you to go back to January 1st in that photo album. Even if you don't have the negative feelings, I still want you to do it. But for those of you especially that have that feeling of the end of the year is here and I haven't done enough, I want you to go back in that photo album and really take a look at, have you really not done enough, or have you just forgotten some of the things that you've done? Because life has been moving so fast and we've just been going and going and going without stopping. Have you been grinding so hard that some of the accomplishments you made, you didn't take that time to stop and celebrate? And I'm not just talking about the big wins. A win is a win, a dub is a dub. How many of those small wins did you just skip over because it wasn't that huge dub that you were looking for? Take this time so that you can reflect on some of those things and make a list. Turn over that sheet from where you jotted down those 2024 goals that you did or didn't accomplish. Make a list of 10 things that you saw that made you happy, that you were thankful for, and or that you did accomplish. You may even want to make a separate list for those things that it's like, oh, these were some good things that happened this year and I didn't even plan for them. Sometimes those are the best memories. But a lot of these things, they're just locked away in the little device in our hand, but we don't take the time to do that research and go back in that archive and take a look. There's a lot of things that live on social media, a lot of things that live here on YouTube, that live on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, wherever you listen to your podcast episodes, whether you're watching or listening. A lot of things live there. A lot of things live on Insta, X, TikTok, Facebook, all of these other platforms. A lot of things live there, but I promise you, you have other things that are living in those photo albums that didn't quite make the cut to make the Facebook, but I'm sure they can be a source of sparking a good memory for you and put a smile on your face. And so make sure that you do that. And then finally, the last thing that I want to leave you guys with today is, because we have 2 weeks left before the next big holiday that's coming up, make sure that you are getting prepped for Christmas. If you don't celebrate Christmas, still just hear me out on what I have to say, because these are things that you can still implement any time of year. But I just want those of us who do celebrate Christmas to be just a bit more mindful and a bit more particular with how we're taking care of ourselves during the holiday season, so that we can make sure that we're avoiding those holiday blues, that we're still able to keep that happy in our holiday season, and also to make sure that we don't get behind, that we are able to enjoy our time the way that we would like to enjoy it. And so that we're able to create and maintain an environment that's conducive to positive things happening, ideas being generated, work getting done without us being overworked, burnt out, exhausted, and just wanting to avoid all of the stressful things that can easily come with the holiday season. So, I'm going to continue to beat on this drum about keeping the happy in the holidays. If you haven't made sure to clean up everything, some of you may even still have relatives that are staying over right now. Thanksgiving was just a week ago. You may still have, I won't say stragglers, but you may still have guests. Make sure that you're doing a little bit every day so that you don't have to make a mad dash the week of Christmas. And in 2 weeks, you're going to tune back in for the next Wednesday episode 2 weeks from now. And it's like, oh, it's Christmas Eve. I got to do all this stuff. And you do still have some time over the next couple of weeks to make sure that you plan out your time so that you are able to stay mindful of that sleep schedule, stay mindful of your gym regimen and your food and drink intake, and also so that you're able to get all of your last minute holiday shopping done and get any of the other items that you need for the house and any of the preparation that you need to do. Make sure all of those things, all of the tasks, and all of the items that you need to prepare for and that you need to leave your home to get. Make sure that you are planning that stuff out on your calendar ahead of time. And also make sure that you are planning for not missing out on your gym time, your self care time, and also so that you're not going to sleep too late each night as we move from one holiday and start to prepare into the next. So, if you haven't already, make sure that all of that stuff from Thanksgiving, for those of us who are in the US, make sure all of that Thanksgiving stuff is cleaned up. Make sure that anything that needs to be put away is put away. While you are putting away those Thanksgiving decorations and or hosting items, make sure that as you're putting everything away, if there are any other things that are left out of place that haven't been cleaned up yet, here's your reminder and now's your time. Go ahead and do that as a super pre-prep so that you can start to get your space prepared for the next holiday. If you are one of the people who do not host or do not have a dinner or decorations or all of those things in your home, make sure that you aren't just getting your physical house in order. Make sure you are getting your house in order. And for those of you who are listening, I pointed to the physical house that you live in, and I also pointed to the inner house, which is yourself, your body. Make sure that you're being mindful of managing those expectations and that you are not overworking yourself. It's very easy to pick up additional hours during the holiday to cover for our other coworkers who may or may not need to take additional days off. There are a lot of year-end things, if you do have a 9 to 5, that you may need to close out. Make sure that you're mindful of that work schedule that you have for yourself as well, and that you are balancing that, you are keeping that work life balance with all of the other things that you have to do for yourself as well as your family so that you can kind of mitigate and keep some regulation there so that you aren't becoming overwhelmed during that 9 to 5 portion of your day and then moving from the 9 to 5 overwhelm directly into the personal overwhelm of all of the holiday things coming at you from different directions. So, if you need some additional tips on how to, I would encourage you to go back and listen to all of the November episodes. All last month, we were dropping a bunch of tips, a bunch of hints, a bunch of reminders, things to stay mindful of, ways to ways to stay ahead of the curve, and so to speak, ways to stay ahead of the curve with getting everything scheduled out and making sure that you're able to enjoy the holiday season and that you aren't putting yourself or allowing yourself to be put into a state of overwhelm and just existential crisis mode because everything is last minute and there are so many different things. Sometimes those shopping trips, It doesn't need to be a one day, all day thing. Just go ahead and break it up into several trips. Break it up into several trips so that you have time to leisurely do your shopping, that it's not the end all be all, that it's not at the last minute. And so that when you get to the last minute, that you are truly just picking up a few little items that are left over for you to grab, or a couple of things that may have popped up. So I'd very much encourage you over the next 2 weeks that if you are celebrating the Christmas holiday, to go ahead and get prepared for that. And the other reason why I'm putting so much emphasis on using the next 2 weeks to get prepared for the next holiday, as we just left a holiday, is because right after Christmas is over, we're straight into the new year. And so, if you need to catch your breath, if you need to recoup, now would be a really good time to put a concerted effort into paying attention to that and identifying what you will do so that you can get back on track. Because once Christmas gets here, New Year's is like it's like, oh, it's Christmas Eve. Achoo. Oh, it's New Year's Day. Like it literally comes that fast. So we do have a couple of weeks where we will be able to do a few very specific things so that we can get prepared for the next holiday that's coming up, so that we can keep that happy in this holiday. So, with that, I will leave you guys to go ahead and check those 2024 goals. Take a look at what you have accomplished so far. What are those last few little things on that goals list for this year that you want to get done over the next 27 days that we have left here, or however many days left that you have once you listen to this episode? And also, at least get it at the forefront of your mind. What will be some of your goals for 2025? Let's start getting in that mindset and getting ready for the year ahead. And so that we're not waiting until the very last minute and scrambling around, just grasping at air for what our goals are going to be, so that we can be prepared to crush and conquer those things. And then also make sure that you take that time to review your accomplishments for this year so that you can take a look back at what did you actually do. Take the time to celebrate those small wins. Take the time to review those large wins, and take the time to reach out to some people that you may not have communicated with, or that have been on your heart, been on your mind. And if you do have to take a look back and reflect on some of those not so great times for this year, make sure that you have things set in place so that you can end on, if it's not a high note, you will at least be able to do some things that will uplift you, that will uplift your spirit, uplift your mood, and so that you can be pre-prepared to take time to be in a space with people who celebrate you, not just those who tolerate you, as we move closer and closer into another holiday that can be filled with emotions, challenges, friends, family, or the lack thereof. So make sure you're getting prepped for that Christmas holiday. We got another couple weeks here, guys. And if you want to find out more about some of the things that you heard me talking about today on the pod, if you are interested in the journal, if you'd like to find out what are some of these prompts and different things that we've been working from during this year, go ahead and click that link below. You will find some freebies. You will find other exciting products and tools that we have for you guys. And you can take a look at some of the things that are available for you as we start to move into and prepare for the upcoming year, so that we can make sure that you not only plan for success, but to make sure that you actually get there and get those things done. So, thank you guys for coming in and tuning in for another Everybody Can't Go Convo. We will see you next Wednesday.
Calling all Gen X women writers. Do you have a book inside of you just waiting to be written? It's time to stop sitting on that dream and start smiling at your completed manuscript. Join us for an unforgettable, fully immersive weekend retreat designed to take you from stuck to published. From March 14th through 16th, 2025, at a luxurious retreat home in Orlando, Florida, you'll be guided step by step by best selling authors, experienced publishers, and your writing coach, Melissa T, who's authored 8 books and helped countless writers become bestsellers. This is your chance to unshackle the story that's been living inside of you for months or even years and release your voice to the world. Because when you share your words, you change lives one page at a time. Secure your spot today and get ready to write the book you were born to create. Save your spot now. Click the link below.